Hi folks, Waterboy here again. Today I'm going to demonstrate how your mechanical sprinkler clock operates and how you can set it on the 14-day dial for 1 day a week watering to accommodate the new water restriction rules. I'll show you how the day pins go in and out, and I'll show you where you need to put the yellow dial to line up the trippers for the sprinkler system to activate. Now, first of all, one of the most important settings on this time clock is the day wheel. This is the day wheel, the small wheel, which has 14 pins fixed inside the wheel. Each one of these pins represents a day of the week. It's done with 14 pins, so it could come out even when you water every other day on a different watering schedule. So there is 14 pins, but you only need to pull out 2 of these pins for your watering days within the 2 weeks, which would only be 1 day a week. And I'll demonstrate to you now how the pins go in and out. All of the pins are out right now, and I'm pushing every pin in, one at a time. Every pin that's pushed in is an off day. The system will not start when these pins are pushed all the way in their resting positions. Just check to make sure they're all down. Now, you probably can't see this, but every one of these pins has a day next to it. Let's say this was Monday. Well, you'd pull that pin out so it's out further than the other 13 pins, and that would be the day that your sprinkler system will start for that week. If that's a Monday, then you go to the other side of the wheel and you pull out another pin on Monday. That's for the second week. And now you have 2 days on Mondays, if that's your day, for 2 weeks. Repeating over and over. All the rest of the other 12 pins are all pushed in. So the system will not start up on those days. Now I'll show you where you should place these pins in reference to the day of the week, so the current day is set. As you can see, this triangle with a point has a number. It has 12 and 14 on that point. Okay, that is the point of which you would set the current day of the week. Right at the point to coincide with the current day of the week. So if it was Tuesday, that pin that would be pushed in for being an off day would be lined up with the point on the 14th. That means that your clock is now set at the proper day of the week. In order for it to start up on your watering day, you must have the proper day of the week lined up with the point on the triangle tip by number 14, as you can see. This is your manual on-off automatic toggle switch, which I'm showing you now. It is in the off position right now, so nothing's going to start on automatic or manual. If you'd like to have the system come on manually, just push the switch down, 1 notch down, and the pump or the system will start up and water. To turn it off, you just push this up 1 notch. Now it's in the middle in the off position. For automatic watering, the toggle switch is always going to be in the up position, all the way up, like that. This is how your clock will be working on an automatic setting. Has to be up in order for the clock to activate on your 1 day a week watering day. If you want to turn it off so it doesn't start up, back to the middle in the off position. Again, manual is down, off is in the middle, and automatic is all the way up. And that's how the toggle switch operates. Now, last but not least, now I'm going to show you how to set the time of day. On the yellow dial, you'll see this round yellow dial has the PM and AM side. If you look closely, it goes from 12 AM to 12 PM. This silver arrow here with a point that says time on it, you probably can't see that. This silver fixed arrow, this metal arrow, it has a time written on it and it's pointing towards a number on the dial. It coincides with this yellow arrow also, and the time of day would line up with the silver point. So if it was 2 p.m., you would line up the time of day 2 p.m. with the pointed silver arrow. That sets your time of the day, the current time. The next operation of this dial, which I'm going to demonstrate, which is a very important part of setting the clock, and that is the trippers that are going to set off the sprinkler system at the right time. Now, most everyone has to water between the hours of 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. on their day. So therefore, you would take this dial and you would insert these brass pins into these slots. Each pin that you put in represents 12 to 15 minutes per zone. Now, make sure that when you put these pins in, that you skip a space between each pin, so the time clock can go off and rest, giving the chance for the zone to change. So if you have 3 zones, you'll skip a space, and then you put the next one in right next to the first one, and that's for the second zone. And then the third zone will go in accordingly. Now we're set for 3 zones. See that? 1, 2, 3. For 3-zone systems, you have a pin, a space, a pin, and a space. And a pin, of course, for the 3rd zone. And one other thing I need to mention is the silver tripper, the day wheel tripper, which should be installed at the midnight setting on the time clock. This comes with your time clock, and it's a silver pin. It's different from the gold pins, whereas it just functions as a day wheel turn. It turns the day wheel. If you'll observe, when the time clock comes around to 12 o'clock at night, the silver pin will sweep the small wheel, see it? And it turns it to the next day. You must have that silver pin in order for the clock to move to the next day. When you're done putting in your gold trippers, make sure of 2 things. Set the time of day that it is. If it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you line up to 10 o'clock in the AM with this point right here. And secondly, you want to make sure that your day of the week, as I mentioned earlier, is set with the 14 arrow on the triangle on the clock. Very important. And lastly, once you've accomplished the time of day setting and the proper day of the week, simply put your toggle switch in the up position, and now you're all set for automatic operation. And remember to call the #1 specialist in South Florida, Waterboy Sprinkler Specialist, for your savings in lawn. Thank you.